like to call now to Stephen Hazelmann. Okay, welcome Stephen Hazelmann. Stephen Hazelmann works for the Pacific Islands Extension Network, who is an affiliate of GFRAS. And Stephen Hazelmann will give you now, we'll talk on networking from a different perspective and will introduce you into what GFRAS does under his function, stream mainly, on networking. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I was asked to give this presentation regarding network strengthening, especially from GFRAS activities. For us in the Pacific, we had our first extension summit in 2005 in a small island called Tonga. And when I joined the Secretary of the Pacific Community, it's like the mini EU of the Pacific. There's 22 countries. The Secretariat had meetings of the heads of forestry, heads of livestock, heads of, you name it, any head had a meeting. But there was no gathering of extension, so we got together with CTA and got all the heads of extension, government and non-state together. And then from there, somehow Dr. Christian Davis contacted us, and we were invited ever since, I suppose, to Chile and Kenya and the Philippines. It's just to lay the foundation. You know, we weren't in a very remote place of the world, and the same issues that is happening, same as we saw yesterday, same problems with farmers and extension. So just like to see what GFRAS tries to do in looking back at its activity in strengthening our networks. And why network? Of course, we get together and we learn from each other, as we are doing now is the 4th meeting. We look at ways to strengthen our capacity, and more importantly, we exchange experiences. We saw yesterday in around this area how extension is delivered and so forth. And it's amazing every time we meet, there's progress happening all over the world in the field of extension and outreach. This is a good map, but I'd just like to ask Lawrence to put our small islands because it's not showing up in your map. Of course, we are facing problem with sea level rising, but not yet. This is a very great representation of, like we're covering the whole globe now, with especially the Europeans at their first meeting. The Americans, Christine, are they?
There's an American system called NEPA.
Okay. I think except for the North and South Pole, we have covered the globe. So it's in various stages where the development of the networks are coming up. But it's a very powerful representation of where the GFRAS has come so far in encouraging these networks. And we just heard the keynote speaker talk about the passion that everyone has to have in network, and I guess that's where we know which ones are working well and which are not. So activities since the Manila meeting, the Europeans have launched theirs. AFAS is beginning to be a good model. We always exchange emails with my friend Max to send me his proposals and what he's doing. So yesterday, to pay him back, I was like his personal photographer around the place. The new extensionist global meeting was held. The consortium on education and training was formed. Yesterday in our group, we asked the farmer what is it that he would like from the extension person. And our colleague presented it. They were very direct. We want people who know what they're saying, and we want people who has a forward-looking. So this comes back to the job that this consortium has to look into on how extension in the field are trained. Because these, I guess one of the examples from yesterday, one of the farmers lost 20,000 euros because he followed the extension officer's advice. So it's a whole new ball game, and we must be precise and so forth. So the policy working group met, I suppose, and the meeting of our chief scientist, GFRAS attended. We saw the nutrition and the role of extension in nutrition was done. The gender working group, which is very important. In our region, take the Melanesian countries, the women do all the farming and the men are in the Ministry of Agriculture. So you wonder why agriculture is not moving. Yeah, the global good practices, we heard from Brazil, the example that FAO is working there and with the partnership there. And research program on extension with CJIR, with lobbying from Christine and a few of the GFRAS people to get this on the research, agricultural research agenda to make extension be part of their conversation. 2014 plans, we will be talking about this the next session. Network activities in all the regions and sub-regions, and I suppose the next meeting will be very interesting in what all the regions will be doing. IFAD Farmer Forum, this is very important. And we have a high-level representative from the World Farmer Organization with us, and the third GIGA session for next year. So I think as we go into the next session, we start thinking of how can all the individuals and the networks that are present contribute to strengthening the networks in your own countries. We also talked about the national fora, which if things are happening on the countries, then it really means the impact for those farmers in that area. So regional activities and meetings, working groups such as our policy agenda, the consortium on education and training, who will be very busy part of GFRAS, because there's a lot of training activities that needs to be done. Our communications, a roster of consultants. This has been started, and we still need to send Dorothy and with GFRAS with all the information. And of course, the next GFRAS annual meeting. So those are just some of the points, but when we go into our break sessions to discuss these. Thank you.